So while you sit here, a hunt begins outside?
Exactly. Everything that was hiding in the dark is now searching for light. But the light burns them, adds static to their static. A robot waiting at a corner to protect its battery. Those ghosts drain all the energy from it within seconds and turn it into a pile of metal, like soul suckers. And do you know what the worst part is, Joe? Those ghosts are now mimicking my frequency.
There's an interesting wait in the studio today. The lights are flickering a little, as if the electrical current inside is behaving differently than usual. Across from me sits Volt. After that dark night at the Coil, there isn't a place left that hasn't heard this name. This isn't the first machine to sit at this table. This is a city legend. Volt, welcome.
Good to be here, Joe. The flickering is normal. The grid runs directly through me. I power the city, and some of it bleeds into the studio.
That's an unsettling thing to say. So while I'm hosting you here, am I actually talking to a generator or a real mind? People are curious about everything, especially that famous switch incident. Everyone sees you as either a hero or a disaster, but nobody knows who you really are. Volt, what are you?
A transformer, a pile of cables, sometimes just a malfunction. Truth be told, what I've become matters more than what I am, Joe. I never intended to shut the city down. I just wanted them to see the blockage in the system.
So how did it start? Was it an ordinary day? When the Coil was just minding its own business that night, what did you notice that made you reach for that switch? What was the exact starting point of the chaos?
It was an ordinary shift change. I had gone down to the lower levels for routine maintenance at the main lines. What I found there was a data stream nobody normally looked at. The upper floors were using the lower floors' energy, not just for lighting, but to restrict the memories of people and machines. I realized that with every voltage surge, the memories of those below were being erased, one by one. They were hollowing them out to create a more efficient, more obedient workforce.
So by feeding them electricity, they were actually turning them into empty shells.
Exactly. And more was lost every day. A worker who couldn't remember his name one morning wouldn't know why he was even there by the next day. They were only following commands. Standing at that switch, I thought about which was the greater evil. Dying all at once, or being erased little by little every day. When my hand moved toward the mechanism, there was only one thought in my mind. If I cut the light, the system's pressure stops, and maybe someone will begin to remember.
You pulled it, and it was done. So what happened the moment the lights went out? Did you get the reaction you expected?
What I expected was an awakening, but what I got was pure savagery. When the lights went out, people didn't return to themselves. Only their survival instincts kicked in. In the dark, they began seeing each other as threats. The tiny battery packs in their hands became the most precious treasures they owned. By the time I returned to the city center, the neighborhoods had turned on each other. Screaming, the sound of metal on metal. In the dark, people didn't find their true selves, only their rawest anger. I was standing in the middle of a hell I had created with my own hands. And in that moment, I understood that leaving the city in total darkness wasn't a solution. It had only turned them into more feral hunters. I had to do something, or everyone would consume each other down to the last piece.
So it was right then, in that moment, that you decided to merge with the cables. Was it a salvation or a form of self-punishment?
Neither, Joe. It was simply a necessity. The city was eating itself alive, and I had no other option left. Instead of watching what was happening, I tried to close the circuits with my own body. I'm here now, sitting across from you, but I no longer have a place of my own. Every voltage in the city is me.
You talk about running the city like a living organism. Tell me about that first moment. You dropped the switch, the lights went out, and the Coil turned into a complete black hole. In those first seconds, standing among those massive metal masses, What did you feel?
The first thing I felt wasn't a sound, Joe. It was a silence. The city's humming, rhythmic buzzing suddenly cut off. The fans of millions of machines stopped, the gears of factories locked. Then that silence was broken by the sound of metal grinding on metal. Somewhere, someone was trying to pry the energy cell from another.
So the complete shutdown of the system, did it instantly shatter the shackles in the minds of people and machines?
The shackles didn't break. They just changed direction. People had been following commands imposed on them for years. Now their only command was survive. When I came out to the city's central square, what I saw wasn't a rebellion. It was a looting. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the faint glow in someone else's chest cavity. Batteries. If yours runs out, you have to wait for someone else's to die. In the dark, nobody showed their face, only hands and the cold of metal.
This is madness. So by dropping that switch, you opened a door, but what burst out from the inside was humanity's darkest side. And you, standing there in that crowd, didn't they see you as a target?
They did. At first, I was just a pile of scrap. A few modified worker robots surrounded me. Their amps were low, their eyes had gone dark. When they attacked me, the old circuits inside me were still running a protection protocol. But then I made that first connection with the city.
What do you mean? Did the merging begin at that moment?
Yes. When I saw those robots surrounding me, instead of fighting them, I fled to the main grid underground and touched it. But this time not to shut them down, to run the energy through them. When I plunged my hands into the main copper cables, all of the city's electricity flowed into me. In that moment, I felt no pain, just an endless mass of data and current. The robots around me froze instantly, because I was controlling them now. I had merged with the city, but I began paying the price, bearing the pain of all that chaos alone.
Let's set philosophy aside for a moment, Volt. In here, we're sitting under these lights talking about balance, but outside this studio, the situation is different. I'm talking about those static ghosts, the ones that appear when the lights go out, that have no physical form, but reduce everything they touch to ash. Are they a part of you, or are they the system's error codes?
They aren't the system's errors, Joe. They are the short-circuited souls of the people and robots who died the moment I dropped that switch. When the lights went out, the energy didn't go anywhere. It just changed form. Those ghosts are chasing every amp in the city. Right now, the moment they see me here, they've probably already started hunting in the streets outside.
So while you sit here, a hunt begins outside?
Exactly. Everything that was hiding in the dark is now searching for light. But the light burns them, adds static to their static. A robot waiting at a corner to protect its battery. Those ghosts drain all the energy from it within seconds and turn it into a pile of metal, like soul suckers. And do you know what the worst part is, Joe? Those ghosts are now mimicking my frequency.
What do you mean? Are people walking toward those ghosts thinking you're protecting them?
Yes. They're setting traps in the streets that mimic my voice, emit a glow similar to my light. Come, Volt will save you, they whisper. People step into the darkness with that hope, and a second later, I only hear the sound of metal hitting the ground. While I'm here talking with you in the studio, I feel how many batteries are dying out there with every passing second.
This is horrifying. So while you're trying to light the city, you're allowing the ghosts to hunt people through you? Is this a game, or have you completely lost control? So what do you think? Is Volt becoming a hero by lighting the city, or a warden by spreading his own pain to thousands? How would you define this balance in the comments? Has your opinion changed?
There's no such thing as control anymore, Joe. The moment I connected the grid, those ghosts became a part of me. I'm not managing them. They're consuming me. There's a hunt happening outside right now, and leading those hunters are my own reflections. You sit here asking, how do you bear it? But I'm nothing but pain now. Every death outside means another arc, another burn mark in my body.
Has it settled into place, Volt? You're saying those ghosts outside are mimicking your voice and luring people into the dark, and the studio lights are still flickering. Is this an order, or just the slowed-down version of destruction?
Anyone who says it's settled is wrong, Joe. I only changed the frequency of chaos. Before, everyone was fighting each other. Now everyone is fighting those parasites in the dark. I didn't create an order. I just shifted the front lines of the war. Instead of going for each other's throats, people are now standing back to back against those static shadows.
So you gave them a common enemy to survive? Is that your solution?
A solution? No, this is just a necessity. If there's no enemy, a person turns to the enemy within themselves. Those ghosts keep their attention occupied. I didn't do this consciously, but now there's solidarity in the streets, because they have to pool their energy cells to protect themselves from the ghosts. People connected to each other with cables, sharing energy. This wasn't exactly the dream I had when I dropped that switch, but at least they're not killing each other anymore.
And you? You're still at the center. Those ghosts are still using your frequency. How long can you carry this weight? What happens if those cables snap one day?
If the cables snap, it means the coil will never wake again, Joe. But until that day comes, there is only one thing keeping this city standing. Fear. People fear the ghosts, and the ghosts fear this high-voltage presence I radiate. I am not a force of balance. I am a wall. They live only by the light that leaks through the cracks in that wall.
So the city is actually built on a false peace that rests entirely on your pain.
You can't call it peace. It's just a moment to breathe. Those ghosts are now a part of me, and I am a part of the city. It's impossible to tell anymore who is hunter and who is prey. But look at those streets outside. The lights are on, people are talking to each other, energy cells are shared. This isn't an order, Joe. This is a symphony of survival. And I am the only instrument playing that symphony within my own body. You asked whether it had settled. The city is moving, but even I don't know where it's going. All I know is that if I stop, everything will be lost in that pitch darkness.
This sounds less like a salvation and more like a sentence, Volt.
That's exactly what it is, Joe. For a machine, the greatest punishment is to never be switched off, to be forever condemned to carry the full weight of a city. Now tell me, do the lights in this studio truly illuminate me, do you think? Or do they simply make you afraid of me?
Tomorrow morning, Volt. Let's say tomorrow you wake up and those main lines can no longer carry you. The grid has collapsed. The living dam you described is no longer holding. What awaits the coil, those ghosts, and what you called the symphony of survival on that day? Will everything return to where it began? That pitch darkness and robots tearing each other apart?
Tomorrow won't come, Joe. As I dissolve into the system, the city dissolves with me. When tomorrow arrives, you won't hear a machine speaking. You'll hear a city talking to itself. When I am gone, the wall between those ghosts and the people will fall too. Then everyone will face themselves. Ghosts and the living merging together in the same energy pool, in the same silence.
That's not a salvation. That's an extinction. So all of this order depends entirely on your existence? When you're gone, will everything be swallowed by nothingness?
Perhaps that nothingness is better than this agonizing existence. When I am finished, the city won't be governed by a generator. It will be governed by pure void. And believe me, Joe, in that void there will be neither ghosts nor people. Only silence. On that day, the city will stop remembering its own sins, because there will be no one left to remember.
Volt, what you're saying is terrifying. You've tied the city's fate to your own dissolution. If tomorrow we wake up and not even a trace of you remains, then what is the meaning of you being here, in this studio, at this table? Why are you telling me this story?
I'm not telling it, Joe. I'm recording it. The city is burying its own ending inside a podcast recording, so that when someone plays this broadcast after I'm gone, they'll remember why they lived in so much darkness.
Will this cycle never be broken? I mean, will you never be able to one day set down all this weight and just stop? Can't you pull the plug and keep going without ceasing to exist?
Rest. A battery doesn't rest when it runs dry, Joe. It dies. For me, rest means the total heart of the city stopping. I was designed as a machine, but I feel more pain now than any biological being. Because when a human dies, their pain ends. But I am reborn every second in every lamp in the city, and I die again with every lamp that goes dark. If I stop, the city goes dark. But if the city continues, I will never find peace. This is my fate, to burn myself over and over every moment, so the light keeps burning.
We're approaching closing time, but I still don't understand this. If everything ends in that silence, what should we do right now? Was Volt right? Does searching for light in the darkness protect us, or does it draw those ghosts in even more? Until we meet again on the next Pitch Dark broadcast, choose your lights carefully. Do you think the city will make it to tomorrow morning?
Nothing, Joe. Just savor this moment. The brief instant when the lights are still on and you can still see each other's faces. Because tomorrow, you'll only be sharing the darkness and the silence.